Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the KR Daily Transmission. Um, I have some really exciting news this morning. I'm like bursting at the seams. We just found out that we have our venue for Paris, France on June 15th. So we're going to be sending out an email announcement. Hopefully within the next 24 hours, if you would like to receive that email announcement about how you can purchase tickets to be with us in Paris, that you should definitely check out my website at kaira.com and sign up for our newsletter, because we're sending out so many exciting announcements about our Sovereign Soul event schedule this year, including this unexpected manifestation where we're going to be live in Paris. So yeah, I'm just like bursting with happiness right now. It was incredibly challenging for me to not be able to go to France when once this La Code Sophia was released. And it, I love, sorry, I was just laughing at the comments. I'm just so happy that everyone's celebrating. Yeah. So this is right. I think the perfection of this manifesting right after the Magdalene Rising ceremony is kind of awesome. And it really speaks to how powerful Mary Magdalene is as a mentor. Like, I asked her and Jesus, I said, if this is real, if this is something you really want us to do, like, you have to show me. You have to be a part of manifesting this venue, because this is a really big deal, and it's so soon, and it has to be in a certain price range, and it has to be at a certain level of elegance. And man, they hit it all. And I guess in my joy and excitement of sharing about this manifestation, it's like, I just want you to know that when you co-create with the Ascended Masters, miracles happen. You do have to be brave enough to explore what it's like to have the faith for miracles to happen. A lot of times miracles happen after you decide to really courageously step forward and do something you've never done before. And then you have to access that sacred flame of faith within you and hold the course, as you are co-creating with your spiritual guides and your guardian angels and all of the individuals that are on your team on the other side of reality that are cheering you on. And so thanks for celebrating that miracle with me today. I'm feeling so happy to announce that. And today's Care Daily Transmission is coming to us from, let's see, page. Okay. Page 305 in the Sophia Code. Yeah, I'm feeling that. Let's do that. Okay. So if you turn to page 305, yeah, like the bottom of 305, there is this paragraph at the very bottom of the page that starts with, the visions within you matter. So let's start there. If you want to read the Sophia Code with me out loud, the visions within you matter. Responding to the calling of your soul matters. How alive you feel matters. Your species and planet were birthed from the heart womb of a Sophia dragon. Did you know that? The first time I witnessed that, the Sophia dragons were showing me how this planet was gestated within the heart womb of a Sophia dragon. It was one of the most incredible things I'd ever seen. Okay, let's keep going. Therefore, you are genetically inclined to create as we create. What is the parallel that's being drawn here? It's like if we are birthed from Sophia as sovereign creators, and if this planet has been birthed from the sovereign heart of the seraphim, then we are genetically, both physically as well as spiritually, inclined to create as sovereign creators. As such, nothing will truly satisfy your soul other than your full embodiment as a sovereign birther of new realities. This is really important to understand because what there very often our spiritual discernment is needed to identify the difference between what we think we want, what we think is going to satisfy us, what our ego structure tells us is going to be really fulfilling, and what is actually going to fulfill your soul. So, as such, nothing will truly satisfy your soul other than your full embodiment as a sovereign birther of new realities. You may not always enjoy the emotions that are ever calling you to align with this truth, but these uncomfortable feelings are meant to remind you of how important you really are. So, nothing will satisfy your soul. I mean, that's a big statement, other than your full embodiment as a sovereign birther of new reality. So, you might be like, well, how could I be a sovereign birther of a new reality? It's by becoming sovereign, like allowing your own sovereign divinity to begin to operate your consciousness, to fill your body with your divine light, to be learning how to incrementally lean into the inner GPS of your higher self's intuitive guidance that you're literally receiving all day long within every major chakra temple of your body. It's what we taught about in our psychic development training curriculum on my website. It's like every aspect of your body is a receptor for divine guidance. And when you work with the Sophia Code, when you activate your divine genome with the key code initiations, when you mentor with these ascended masters, this is really important. Hear me on this. These incredibly daunting times, and we're not through the portal of darkness that is humanity's collective evolutionary arc to reveal its addictions to slavery. Like, we're really going through a birth canal over the next few years. And I really need you to hear this. Your co-creation with the ascended masters and the angelic orders is essential over these next few years. It's really not optional. And I guess that's why I want to share, celebrate this win of manifesting this venue in Paris, because I kept waiting and waiting and waiting until it would be a mandate-free opportunity to travel back to Europe, because I'm not going to make that decision for my body, for anybody or anything. And I would rather die than ask someone to come and make that kind of a medical decision and buy a ticket to come see me. It's like, no. I'm not that person. I even had interesting people come to me. Was really shocking. They said, well, if you just, made this medical decision, we could promote you on this, or we could open this avenue for that, or what are you doing? Like, why don't you come into this narrative and just be a part of this? And it was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, I would never give away my sovereignty to anyone or anything, especially the sovereignty of my body. So this moment to be able to travel to France, mandate free, all of those passports that they were making, based on medical decisions, dropped. Like, everything is open for a very small window. Why? Oh, because there's an election happening next month. Isn't that interesting? Don't see any correlation there. So anyways, here I am, and I'm like, oh my God, I know this is a small window because, we're dealing with so much totalitarian control still that's going to play out over the next few years. And I just, I was like, this is my window. I'm going back to France because this is where I was last in France, right? Literally right before the pandemic. It was like I was standing on French soil, doing this massive pilgrimage, retracing the steps of Joan of Arc and finding the real steps of Joan of Arc and retracing the steps of Mary Magdalene. And it was interesting when I came back to Paris. I had our beautiful team angel Ashley Phoenix with me there in France, and she was supporting us to present the Sophia Code teachings in Paris. And I just know, the whole trip was like guided in such a deep way. And every time we went to a specific cathedral, it was always through divine guidance. It was through that inner listening. And every time I went to those cathedrals, I was always shown exactly where I was supposed to sit, exactly where I was supposed to receive a download from Jesus, from Mother Mary, from Mary Magdalene and Joan of Arc, because that's what I was there for. I was on a Order of Magdalene, a pilgrimage. But something really, really intense happened in these cathedral visits. I would receive the same vision every single time. And in the vision, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary would stand in a triangle around me, and they would ask me to not look away from the vision and to really witness what was coming for humanity. And it was a period of great darkness that humanity would come through, but it was great darkness that nonetheless. And I'm not going to go into the details because it was just really disturbing. But what I felt and I knew in my heart as I was receiving this vision was that those who had activated their divine genome, those who were mentoring the ascended masters, those who were coming into contact with their Star Nation family, those who were serving their divine purpose, really stepping into their higher self embodiment, choosing to embody their sovereignty and to get unplugged from the matrix of codependency. And those were the people that were going to come through this great trip. Really, it was like a tribulation of the collective soul of humanity. And we were the leaders that helped, millions of souls come through that portal. And I don't think I'm speaking anything that any like highly sensitive light worker hasn't really felt in their own selves. But it is why. So anyways, circling back around to the story about Paris, so the moment, this is only literally like a week ago, or maybe it was like a week and a half. I don't know. It was the last YouTube live that we did for France, the very last one on the dragons, which, by the way, was like a really cool dissertation. If you haven't watched that English-French consecutive translation, definitely check out that video. That was great. That was a really cool final class. And man, that just being with the dragons for that transmission felt so good. And the dragons have been coming through so strong this week with our prayer collective on Easter night, and even during the Magdalene ceremony, like what we are willing to receive from them right now seems to be far greater, because when I'm channeling it, I'm like, wow, this is intense. This means we're all getting ready to receive greater and greater downloads as a community. Super exciting. And so, I find out about this opening from our translator, Anne Large. She's like, oh yeah, they just dropped everything. And I was like, why? And she said, well, I don't know, but elections are next month and want to keep people happy during election season. And I was like, yeah. And my wheels started turning like fast, because I saw in a vision 4 months ago that I was going to jump on a plane in June and I was going to go to France. But, like I've said, there was no way I was going unless the conditions were of freedom, and that no one was going to have to make a medical choice to see me, because I think that's like throw up in my mouth. I'll never do that. So the moment she said that, I knew the vision was going to come true. And so in that is a teaching right? Here we are at the beginning of this today's reading, right? What's the first sentence we read today? The visions within you matter. I received that vision of going to France 4 months ago. Does a vision tell you all of the details? No, it shows you what already happened, right? So if you've seen visions of what's already happened to you in the future, that's important. They matter. And you don't have to know how that information is going to come true for it to actually come true. If you are embodying your higher self, if you're committed to living in your sovereign and creative potential, you as a creator are going to, with your daily divine guidance and your co-creation with the Ascended Masters, you are going to be a part of making that vision come true. And God is going to be a part of doing the rest. Whatever you call God, Divine Mother, Divine Father, Holy Spirit, Great Spirit, Buddha, Christ, I don't care what you call, Source. But that consciousness, the same consciousness that gives birth to star nurseries and the very breath that you're breathing isn't even your own. It comes from the source. It's a gift. That very source is what's co-creating these visions to come true with you. So responding to the calling of your soul matters. All right. So look at that. Isn't that interesting piece on page 305 of the Sophia Code? The Sophia dragons are revealing to us a blueprint of Sophia Christ consciousness for how to navigate these extremely, like sometimes even perilous times. It's like mentoring and co-creating with the Ascended Masters is not optional. If you want to live your best life, if you want to thrive in these times where a lot of people are choosing to just go down a path of total self-destruction and self-sabotage, you need to get super serious about awakening your sovereign divinity, really spending time with these teachings, activating your divine genome, mentoring with the Ascended Masters, because your life is going to get so much better. Like, there's no way I could have healed what I've healed in my life without these extraordinary spiritual guides. You know, it's like that was the whole point of me surviving what I survived and then healing what I healed. It was to show everyone we can all take responsibility for our healing journey with our friends in high places that are going to co-create, that healing journey with us. I'm not just relying on myself to get through what it's like to be inside this body and to be inside my very raw, vulnerable healing journey every day of my life. I am co-creating the healing journey with the Ascended Masters. I am constantly saying, yes, thank you, I accept, I receive. I really need the help today. I will gladly take the help today. Oh, that's right. I have to ask for the help and I have to receive the help. Got it. Yes, please help me today. I receive the help. Now, are they doing my life for me? No, I'm doing my life and I'm inviting them to be a part of that in a co-creative journey. And so here's step number 1 is the visions within you matter. Step number 2 is responding to the calling of your soul matters. So if the visions are coming directly from your soul as future memories of your greatest sovereign success, then you have to respond to the calling of your soul. And it matters. That response is a divine feminine and divine masculine alchemized response to what is rising within you, the divine guidance that you are receiving through the visions, through the I don't know how I know this, divine claircognizance, the divine downloads, the inner promptings, right? You have to respond to it. That is how you live in success when everyone else is choosing for their reality to melt down. That's how new doors of opportunity, new windows of illumination open for you when everyone else is choosing to suck on a binky in darkness. It's just like, not you, but it comes from radiating that Sophia Christ light, the sun of your soul, like literally from your heart out. And that Christ consciousness radiating from the center of your heart, that's what's casting the light in front of you, showing you your path one step at a time. And the more you live in that higher self co-creative state of receiving divine guidance and choosing to respond, that's when you start to download visions from the future that work as like soul maps. Like, hey, 6 months from now, you're going to be here. So why don't you get ready for that? And everybody's like, oh, I wish I was psychic. I wish I got a vision. I wish angels talk to me. Do you really? Because as soon as they talk to you, as soon as you get your visions, guess what? You got to go to work. All right. You got to respond to the call. And if you don't, and if you've received that information of a vision or divine guidance, it's going to start banging around you like a ping pong ball. That's going to start to feel like a bowling ball, knocking you around, knocking yourself out because you didn't listen. Like, you didn't respond. This is why people get so frustrated in their spirituality. Oh, my manifestation skills, they suck, or, I'm just really in a rut and I'm just gonna, have all of my hard feelings about it and let all of my hard feelings take over. And it's just like, you can have all of your hard feelings about your spiritual journey. No one begrudges you your feelings. We all want you to feel your feelings, but you still have to show up. No one can live your life for you. No one can follow through on divine guidance for you. That is your own job to do. And the more that you do it, the more you start to realize this is my great get to. So I want to go back to how like an actual example of what this looks like. All right. So I get this mess. I get the vision 4 months ago that I'm jumping on this plane. I'm going to be in France this summer. I don't know how this is going to happen again, because I'm not doing it with any mandates. Like, hell, I'm doing that. No way. And so it was like, cool. I'm sure you'll guide me and I'm sure I'll be ready if this is meant to be. So let it go. Right. And then the moment I find out, it's just like, because I've already been to France, because I already have my contacts there, it was like, I knew that I needed to what? Respond to the calling of your soul because it matters. I got on the phone with my travel agent. I got on the phone with my translator. We started calling everyone that we had as contacts to find an event venue. It was just like, I didn't wait. I knew. I already had the vision. Act now. Now, by the way, we're already producing, Austin in May. We're going to Bimini to swim with wild dolphins with our incredible Sophia Circle leaders in July. Like, we're bringing the fire to Sedona for psychic sovereign spiritual leadership in August. It's like my dance card is already a little full, but I knew this is a response to my soul and take action. So this morning, and it was like, it's not exactly the easiest thing in the world to manifest the right venue at the right price in Paris post-pandemic 2 months before you're supposed to be there. I mean, that's crazy. But I made the prayer. I took one step in front of the other and I was like, this is happening. I'm burning with sacred faith inside my heart. I'm holding this vision. And if this is meant to be, the Ascended Masters are my co-creators for this ministry, and it is their job to open the door of this manifestation so that we can finally come together in sovereign resonance in Europe in person for those who have been literally begging us to come to Europe for 2 years. I said, it's up to you, Jesus. It's up to you, Mary Magdalene. It's up to you, Isis. It's up to you, Joan of Arc. Throw open those doors. Guide us. Show us. I trust you. Don't let me down. I've already told everyone I'm coming. It's just like, and they did it. They did it. I got the news this morning. That's how to dragon out, right? Dragon's got a dragon. It's like, do you know the guts it took to say yes to the vision that I received last October to produce the Sovereign Soul events this year? Go check out that calendar on my website at kaia.com. Go check out what it takes to produce those kind of live events so that we can gather and train up in our sovereignty, go hard into our deepest shadows so we can shine our brightest sovereign light. Are you kidding me? Like, my team angels and myself, we've been working day and night to get ready for these events. And I hope you can join us for at least one of them or some of them. We did also just announce that there's a limited virtual conference access pass for Austin. So if you can't get there to be with us in person, join us virtually. Are you kidding me? We're going to blow the roof off that place with our fire. So it's like, fortune favors the bold. And when the Sophia Code first came out, it was always an international phenomenon. Our very first book signing, literally half the attendees out of like 120 people in this little mountain town. I think I said something on YouTube or Facebook or something. Half the people showed up literally from around the world. This has never not been an international movement. It's always been a global movement to activate humanity's sovereign divinity. The Sophia Code didn't become a bestseller in US for a while. It became an international bestseller in 5 days. And it's remained so ever since. So why am I sharing this? What does this have to do with you? This is a codex on our sovereignty, and these Sophia dragons are actual seraphim. It's an angelic order that are initiating us to wake up. Your creativity is everything. Your sovereign free will choices mean everything right now. Your daily choices, your willingness to consider that you're divine and unplug from a matrix of slavery that would keep you thinking really shitty thoughts about yourself instead of loving yourself as the glory of God in human form and getting busy and responding to the visions of your soul, whatever they are. Volunteer, create something new, start a business, get a different job, finally go out with this person you really want to go out with. It's just like, what do you need to say yes to this year? That's what we're being initiated into. And every personal and every professional choice that you choose to boldly make in a response and an authentic responding to your own soul, not your ego's idea, but what you think you have to have, or what you think how you have to look, or who you've got to be with. It's like, if you are genuinely responding to your soul, that's the energy of like a dragon. Like dragon's got a dragon. There's like a divine force of nature when you touch into the visions of your soul. And that divine force of nature rises up. It's your higher self. It rises up and it wants to literally dragon out right now. It doesn't want to be a bunny. It doesn't even want to be like a dolphin. It wants to dragon. Why do we talk about dragons so much? Because the Sophia dragons teach us that in ancient culture, it was like the reason why the dragons are considered the highest totem in Chinese astrology. It's like dragons they can create beyond the worlds of form, right? It's like they are descending from heaven down into this world. This represents the Sophia Christ consciousness descending down, the divine feminine Christ consciousness descending down, the indwelling of the divine feminine Christ consciousness within you rising up from your heart. Like, why is this a divine feminine sacred text? It's because it's the divine feminine that begins the process of alchemizing the divine masculine and the divine feminine principles of God consciousness within you so that you can fully activate your sovereign embodiment. If you start to explore what it feels like to abide in the resonance of your sovereign divinity long enough, what you will discover is there is a golden dragon manifester within you. There's a golden dragon magician within you. There's a golden dragon creator within you. There's a golden dragon teacher within you. There's a golden dragon healer within you. There's a golden dragon creator within you, or creatrix. Your heart is the cauldron. Your faith is the fire. Your visions are the breath of life, that air fanning the flames of your fire. And I'm just so happy that I get to share a little bit about the Sophia Dragons more with you this week. I'm wearing the singing seraphim pendant that I designed. And these Sophia Dragons, they're some of my best friends in the whole cosmos. Who doesn't want to hang out with a seraphim dragon? When people are like, oh, is Sophia Code reptilian? I'm like, you can go ahead and think whatever you want to think. I know those reptilians. I was raped by them. I know exactly who they are. You think I'm going to channel that shit? This is the Sophia Dragons. These are the holiest creatures of the Divine Mother. Are you kidding me? Can I get an amen in the chat? Like, if you're feeling me, if you're feeling this holy fire, let's let's focus on what's real here. Look at the mirror of what they're offering us. It's extraordinary. All right. I'm going to just loving everyone in the chat there. Thanks for the support here. So let's just close this final statement. As such, nothing. They're not saying the word nothing just because they wanted to use the word for no reason. Like nothing. Okay, let's just get inside the nothing of nothing. I'm having so much fun this morning. As such, nothing will truly satisfy your soul other than your full embodiment as a sovereign birther of new realities. Let me translate that for you. You can't do the same dumb old shit that you've done to yourself for years. You can't keep hiding out in unresolved trauma and not face it. You can't keep trying to hide an addiction or even boldly thinking it's like something courageous to flaunt an addiction. Like everything needs to get cleaned up right now. And if you don't like it, that's okay. I don't like cleaning up my shit either. But I do it because I sure like the clean, clear space for my sovereignty to shine even brighter. It feels good. It looks good. And I create much better from that space. And so do you. So there's a really powerful kind of window that we have right now over the next 2 weeks before this eclipse coming up. Use it. Own it. Respond to the visions within you because they matter. Like, let's make a commitment right here and right now. And if you want to commit with Mary Magdalene or Jesus or the Sophia dragons, like you're going to make different choices today. Even if there are these subtle creations of new pathways in your consciousness, like maybe you go left instead of right when you're driving to some place you always go the same way to. Maybe you soak in the sunset a little bit longer and let those rays of consciousness soften your ideas about what you think you have to achieve so that you can actually bask in the radiance that you already are. I've achieved a lot in my life. I have to share with you, like there's a certain level of achievement where you understand it's not how you could ever value who you really are. So if you're hung up on that monkey mind bullshit, like let that go today. Soften into and electrify yourself with the radical presence of this sun of your soul shining out from your heart, from your face, from your mind, rays of light penetrating the darkest spaces within you that want to be liberated by your own loving willingness to respond to the visions within you. I'm going to share one more thing before I close. If you are an intuitive light worker, which I don't know why else you would be here, when you receive information and you don't respond to it as divine guidance, especially information about getting out of a codependent dynamic and stepping into a sovereign dynamic, where you can actualize more of your creative potential. Remember that ping pong inside of you turning into a bowling ball? Man, it gets painful when you know what you're supposed to do and you keep bucking it. And then if you're really choosing to like dig in and resist the divine guidance, you start blaming other people and getting confused as though it has anything to do with somebody outside of yourself. Let's be very, very clear. Sovereignty is an inside job. And it's a challenging job, but it's not a job that you need to do by yourself. Because that would be, just buying into that slave matrix as though you're all alone. You don't have any resources. You'll never have enough. You'll never be able to overcome this, crazy human life. It's just like, yes, you can. Are you kidding me? Anyone can thrive in all circumstances. And I'm not saying that lightly, but it does require that focused discipline, that sacred flame of faith, and to respond to the divine guidance you're receiving and to take action. There's no other way. No one can do it for you. But there are so many people that are resonating in their sovereignty, or at least in their journey towards embodying their inherent sovereignty, that want to co-create with you, both as our Earth Angel community and, of course, as the Ascended Masters and Angelic ones that you meet in the Sophia Code that are ready to mentor you. Are you kidding me? This is like university level stuff for the spirit world, for your spiritual journey. Let's go, angels. It's been so much fun to share about Paris with you today, about Austin. We're going to be in Austin in 2 weeks. Who's coming? I'm super excited. We're bringing the fire to Austin. Remember, be the fire, and there's no problem with fire. I've enjoyed being very fiery with you today, dragons. Dragons get a dragon. Have a beautiful day. Feel free to reach out to my team angels if you have any questions at all about attending our Sovereign Soul events this year or coming to Paris with us. We love you so much. Namaste. Ding.